Hurricane Dorian is now lashing North Carolina's coast right now with high winds and torrential rain. The deadly storm weakened overnight to a Category 1, but weather officials say that it remains a powerful hurricane as it moves along the coast of North Carolina. Dangerous storm surges and life-threatening flash flooding is expected in the region, and at least 250,000 homes and businesses in both North and South Carolina are without power. Our Katherine Johnson is in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Katherine, we talked to you a little bit earlier. 4 o'clock in the morning. It was very dark. It was hard to see what conditions were like back then. What are they like now?
Good morning, Anne-Marie. You might be able to see a little better now here at this hour. The waves are getting bigger as Hurricane Dorian begins to make its entrance here into the Outer Banks. Those who live here and decided to hunker down and weather this storm are under strict instructions not to leave their homes until at least noon. That hour could get pushed back depending on the severity of this storm. Even though it's weakening, it's still extremely unpredictable at this point. The Bahamas this morning still reeling. That death toll now up to 30 people. Morticians are bringing in at least 200 body bags today as part of the rescue and recovery, and we know thousands of people are still missing. People on the Abaco Islands in the Bahamas are desperate to get out.
I'm at the airport with my sister, my 2 sons, my daughter, and 2 granddaughters. It's horrible. You can't live here.
Widespread devastation caused by Hurricane Dorian has halted any semblance of normalcy. Many are waiting at the airport, hoping for a seat on a plane.
We still have babies here. We still have elderly people here. They're not living up to their word.
At the same time, relief organizations from around the world are trying to get in.
At this point in time, we're going past chaos at this point. It is no forward to say better. It's getting worse. So we need any help we can get.
Dorian is now thrashing North Carolina. Officials warned coastal residents to evacuate, but some chose to ride this storm out.
Not a stranger to hurricanes.
I'm just going to bunker down and hold in and wait for it to pass.
More than a dozen tornadoes touched down on Thursday as Dorian sat off the coast of the Carolinas.
I'm damn lucky.
This tornado started as a waterspout, but came ashore and tore through an RV park in North Carolina.
Me and my wife and the cat took shelter. We went into the bathroom. Power went out. We were there less than a minute.
And in South Carolina, exploding transformers and downed power lines left thousands in the dark.
So, Katherine, evacuation orders in the Carolinas could impact more than 1 million people. What's the current situation with those who decided to stay?
Well, so here in Kill Devil Hills, there are actually a surprising amount of people who decided to stay and hunker down. They have a really interesting attitude. They say after Hurricane Matthew back in 2016, this just doesn't really frighten them as much as what they've seen in the past. Now, during Hurricane Matthew, this area was flooded out in the Outer Banks, and people were really stuck in their homes and hotel rooms for days. Many, though, here in Kill Devil Hills decided to stay or check in to hotels that were on higher ground so they could still remain near their home. On our way in here, though, towards the coast yesterday, we saw plenty of businesses boarded up as far as an hour inland. So lots of preparation, but people didn't necessarily evacuate this area. And now it's too late. The storm is upon us. There's no way in or out right now from this area of the Outer Banks. The bridges are closed, and everybody's just told to hunker down and stay in at least until noon.
You know, the thing about it, when people choose to stay because they think, they can ride it out, is that, like you just mentioned, at some point they won't be able to leave. But not only that, emergency crews won't be able to get into them if the situation becomes unpredictable. What are the biggest issues for the Outer Banks as they face this storm?
So we know that emergency crews are here on standby. They are trying to make some rounds on neighboring streets. But again, with that curfew in place, everybody's trying to hunker down inside at least until this storm passes, as it's been so unpredictable along the past few 10 days.
Right.
Now, the biggest concern here where we are in the Outer Banks is going to be flooding. We're talking about huge storm surges as high as 7 feet right around high tide. We're thinking that's going to be 4 o'clock. Forecasters are saying, though, it could happen anytime as soon as Hurricane Dorian moves out of here. And we're told that once it does start moving out, it's going to move quickly and that water's going to come in. So we're talking big storm surges, flash flood warnings. And again, back during Hurricane Matthew, this area was flooded for for days. So this storm, we're thinking the water's going to go down much quicker. It could even go down by tomorrow. But again, this is very much a wait-and-see situation.
Right. And what about power outages? As I understand, they're pretty widespread already. Do we have any idea just how widespread and just how long the power will be out for?
Right. So as you mentioned, more than 200,000 people in the Carolinas right now without power. We've been really lucky here in Kill Devil Hills in this area, but we know up in Virginia Beach, 5,000 outages just an hour ago, all happened in 1 second. So on our way out here, we saw emergency crews and power crews from Virginia and from outstate North Carolina start to make their way towards the coast. They're hunkered down about an hour inland. So as soon as this storm passes, they're ready to get in. They're ready to get the power back up and going. The hotel that we're staying at, we spoke with the front desk person yesterday just about how that looks in storms past. She said, surprisingly, they move really quickly in this area. But again, it all depends on how long it's going to take that water from these storm surges to recede.
Yeah, the upshot of being hit by, multiple hurricanes over the years is authorities, the municipalities, they have their systems down pat. They know exactly what to do before, during, and after. Katherine Johnson, thank you so much.